Who's that? Oh, what was that? That is a twist that does not happen, obviously, in any of the Freddy games. Oh, wait a second. Oh my goodness, the Fnaf fandom is gonna be rejoicing. Holy, hey everyone, it's your friend Thinknoodles, and welcome back to Think Reacts, where today we're gonna be reacting to the Five Nights at Freddy's official trailer, which came out 4 hours ago, already 1.1 million views. And I'm thinking, just like the teaser, this is gonna be #1 on trending, if not in the top 5 already. Dang, 25 million views. This movie is gonna do really well, and even though all their eyes are red and everyone's mad about it, but we'll get to that in a minute. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and watch the teaser, because I did do a short on it, but I didn't really like react to it too much or stop it or pause it like I always do. Again, guys, as always, I stop the videos a lot. If you want to watch the trailer on its own without me interrupting, don't watch this. All right, let's watch the teaser. Here we go.
Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, where fantasy and fun.
And I mean, this is a perfect recreation of like any commercial for Freddy's or Five Nights at Freddy's Pizzeria, and even the music in the background. You know, the song that we all know is just before we're about to die, but except for this one. And I just love how dark it just gets dark just like that. Okay, so right there, so like, I mean, you guys saw it already. I'm sure you've seen this already, but you know, again, I didn't really stop, but that's Bonnie right there. And look, red eyes. But people are really upset about the eyes being red when they're lit, because as we know, we've played all the Five Nights at Freddy's, the lights are white, like his flashlight. And there's Freddy. Yeah, his eyes aren't on yet. But I mean, look at, oh my goodness, seeing them in real life is just insane. The metal chompy chomps look terrible. And that was Chica, of course. Or, well, at least her cupcake, right? Yeah, no, that is Chica. You can see her teeth right there. Powers it up. And even there, like, even in the sign, right? Like, the lights are white. Or his eyes, well, yeah, I mean, they don't turn red, but anyway.
Hello?
I guess it's a way for people who really haven't played the games and don't understand it.
So much fun together.
Yeah, that, boom. Yeah, right here already. Problem, yeah, this is, could you imagine that coming at your face? Looks like a mask he's about to wear. It's gonna cut his face open. Now, who was this here? So this was a laugh, and the laugh was, that laugh, oh, so that was Foxy. That was a picture of Foxy, but the laugh was Balloon Boy, right? Like, this is Foxy right here. But the laugh is, sounds like Balloon Boy. Yep. And then everybody's running. Don't know who that guy is. That's the security guard right there. He looks like he messed up. He's starting the night over, I think. Now this right here, do we think this is, it could be just an endo, it could be Springtrap, I don't know. Gross! Ball pits are disgusting. Don't ever put your face in a ball pit, guys, because kids in ball pits, just don't. Okay, trust me. I think I've said it before. Yeah, so this is with the red eyes that people are upset about. There's Bonnie, well, Freddy before, Bonnie now. That was about to be Chica. Dun, 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 dun. And, you know, there's no real jump scare in that one, okay? That's okay. Oh, and afterward, I think I want to watch Matt Pat's video, or Game Theorist, on the entire timeline, because I've never watched that video, and I really do need to, like, make sure that I've got my history straight, and I think he can put me straight. So let's go to the new trailer. That's what you guys are here for. But yeah, a lot of people are like, you never reacted to it, because they didn't see my short. So there you go. I have now. So let's start this thing. Okay, here we go. Oh, and I'm gonna like it. Oh, 250K likes. But look, it already went to 1.2 million, and it was 1.1. Like, if I go back, I think it'll still hold it, right? Oh no, now it says 1.2. But still, it was at 1.1 before, because I remember saying that. All right, drone shot. Okay.
Hi, this is Mike. I was just calling to see if that job that you offered was still available.
Okay. Career counselor. Is he in school? I don't know why he would call a career counselor. I guess, I don't know. But yeah, so the guy who was talking before is the night security guard. This is a notice of delinquency?
The security guard.
Actually,
I will take anything.
okay, so yeah, he's got some problems. It's a notice of delinquency, so I think that's on his, I think that looked like it's on the front of his house. So we've taken, yeah, that is. So this is basically saying you're about to, it's not an eviction notice, but almost. And he'll take the security guard job because he's desperate because he doesn't have a job and he can't pay his
The
rent.
security guard.
I will take anything.
Okay.
This place was huge in the 80s with the kids.
Right, okay, now this, we saw this scene in the teaser just a minute ago. It's actually good that I just watched that, but it was at night, okay? It still looks really bad during the day, but it looks way worse at night.
Kids.
Okay, in the 80s,
Shut it down years ago.
Yep.
The owner's just not ready to let it go yet.
Yeah.
I will
Yep,
work
there's the
and
scene.
You will sleep.
I understand.
Oh,
Give me your hand.
interesting. So that is a twist that does not happen, obviously, in any of the Freddy games where he brings his daughter to work. I mean, I guess he doesn't have any childcare because he can't even afford his rent, but bro, you can't be bringing your kid to work at night in this haunted pizzeria here, man. Look at all the drawings in the back. I wonder if that's actual fan art. Okay, so that,
All you
there's
have
vents,
to do
rats.
is
Yeah.
keep your eyes on the monitor.
Dude, that is such a good recreation. So his daughter, it looks like, is gonna end up getting abducted and he's gonna try and save her, which is completely different than the actual game, but whatever. But still no phone call. I'm gonna be very upset in this movie if they never put the phone call in. That happens at the beginning of every single night. That is the most iconic ringer, like, come on, hello, like we need that. Okay, this guy is about to get trashed by Bonnie, it looks like. Yep.
There are ghost children possessing giant robots.
What was that? What? This kid thinking Foxy? What are you doing? And what is that, dude? I mean, it's a bunny drawing. Is it supposed to be Bonnie or Vanny or what? What is this? There was a little jump scare there. That was Foxy. I'm pretty, yeah, there he is. Right at your door. Or actually, he's where the guy clocked in. So not necessarily outside the security office.
What do they want?
They want to make her like them.
Ah, okay.
Tell me how to stop them.
So they're, holy duh! Whoa, that is creepy, dude. A hand coming out Freddy's mouth? Okay, so, wait, why are they on a chair? That seems dangerous. Oh, and just got pulled in.
Too late.
So they want his daughter. Bobby, go! Oh, wait a second! Did they take the criticism? They did! Oh my goodness, the Fnaf fandom is gonna be rejoicing. They changed the eyes! So I was commenting on this because this was the biggest feedback on the teaser, that the eyes were red. Now they've gone and done, oh, that's creepy. They've gone and done CGI. I mean, it was already CGI, I'm sure. But if you look, like, there, right there, look. Already, so I think, is that, I mean, they got ears. That might be Springtrap. But blue eyes, or white eyes, basically, but not red. And then right here, okay, there's Chica and Chica and Bonnie. I don't know why, Bonnie and Chica, whatever. Her cupcake is gone. I don't know who that is, but they are missing a shoe. I'm sure that's significant. Okay, this is the cop. She's in the hospital, and he escaped without his daughter, I guess. And then he's beating someone up. He's punching someone in the water. I don't know what this water tank is. He's actually in the vent, which we never get. Then that is absolutely 100% without a doubt Springtrap, or Glitch Trap. Well, it's Springtrap. It's Springtrap. And look at the eyes. There's no red there at all. So everyone will be happy. We saw this. Okay, there's a little bit of red, but that was a mask coming onto his face.
Where to?
Is that Corey? It is, right?
Where to?
No, it's not, right? Is it?
Why do I always get the weirdo?
It is. It is. That's 100% Corey. Corey X Kenshin right there. And look at it. So she's there with Freddy. They look like they're friends, but wait a minute. So they put YouTubers in it. Okay. They put Corey in here as like an Uber driver. Markiplier has to be in here somewhere then too, right? Like these are two iconic FNAF.
Weirdos.
Like that's crazy. I did not expect that at all. That's amazing. All right, wait. So let's go to game theory. Dang, that's a lot. That's a lot of likes and views. All right, let's watch this. Let's get woo. All right. I'll try not to pause this one as much. I'll comment as it goes because this is a pretty long video. Hope you guys stick around for it so you can learn the FNAF lore with me because I know I'm missing out on a lot of it.
Today we end the torment. 19 books, 11 games,
really?
8 whole years.
That's unbelievable.
The ultimate FNAF timeline is finally complete.
All right, give it to us, man.
Are in place for us. Now all we have to do is put this story of tragedy, jealousy, and loss back together.
Okay.
Hello,
I wonder if they're gonna follow the game theory or like if they're gonna follow the lore.
Except here, it's the class project that I've been working on for the past decade of my life. This one is big, my friends, and I gotta admit, kind of nervous. I haven't attempted a timeline video on this franchise since 2018. Back in the days when Mike was the crying child, Afton coming back was actually a surprise, and Fazgoo wasn't a phrase I'd ever thought I'd have to utter. But since the last time I did something like this, we've had 3 more massive games, the death and revival of the FNAF movie, and more robot kids than you can shake a staff bot at. It is exhausting trying to keep track of this whole franchise, which honestly is why I'm here today. The lore at this point is complicated. It is full of speculation and theory, so to hopefully make it a little easier for everyone and to give us all a baseline to talk about this franchise moving forward into the future, it's time to reveal my current working FNAF timeline. But just before I do, I just want to explain a couple of things. First, this timeline is massive. Seriously, it is huge. This thing towers over any when you look at the totality of this franchise, the story of FNAF really boils down to the story of one man, William Afton. His successes,
I get
his
that.
failures, his rise to becoming co-owner of one of the most successful restaurant franchises in the world,
and
then
his
eventual
downfall.
fall to the monsters he helped to create, only to then be reborn in a new digital form later. That's why I've decided to split this timeline into 3 main chunks. The foundation of Freddy's, how the business started and how it came into being, the Afton era, William's decades-long murder spree, and post-Purple Guy. Basically modern FNAF. Everything that happens after the Pizzeria Simulator fire. And because there are lots of new big revelations in this thing that seemingly come out of nowhere, as well as just points I want to talk about further, I decided to dedicate 1 episode to each chunk. I originally wanted it to be one seamless
wait, there's 3 of these?
It just felt incomplete without some sort of explanation at the end of each one. Once this whole thing's done, I promise I'm gonna merge all the narrative bits into one massive video so you can just skip my explanations. But for now, this just felt like the best, most satisfying, most complete way to do this. That being said, this is still about the story, the broad strokes of the franchise. So in order to make sure that you guys know that I'm not just pulling answers out of thin air, not only am I discussing some of the more controversial bits at the end of each chunk, we're also putting in a handy little graphic in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, which will show thumbnails, video titles, books, and any other citations that we need throughout the video. So if you wish to understand that specific statement in more detail, you know exactly where we've taken it from.
What? That gave birth to Spring?
For yourself.
What?
So
Springtop's your baby.
Grab some popcorn or your pitchforks if you're the type to get upset when I say something controversial, and make sure that you
no, I'll be nice. I'll be nice.
This is going to be a video that you're going to want to come back to a few times in order to fully. Without any more waiting, I present to you the story of a loving, obsessive father who slowly descended into madness, and along the way discovered the secret to eternal life. Our story begins not in the 1980s, or even in the 1970s, but all the way back in the 1930s.
Okay, you're going to
the Great Depression, and
people
were in desperate need of cheap entertainment, especially in Utah, one of the states hit hardest, 4th highest unemployment in the nation, and full of transients. People looking for work in Salt Lake, finding none, and ultimately moving on to find their fortunes out in California. People were tired and they were hungry, but as they traveled, there was one thing that could lift their spirits: a simple roadside attraction called Fredbear's Singin' Show. The ads were plastered all over town, featuring an animated bear drawn in
this was in Fnaf SB. I don't remember
style
seeing
for
this.
characters at the time. He resembled cartoons like Mickey Mouse, Felix the Cat, Betty Boop. It immediately said that this, Fredbear's, was a place where you could bring the family. And the price, honestly, couldn't be beat. For 50 cents, you could get food and entertainment as you watched the local trained real-life dancing bear.
I don't know if it was real life.
You got to see dancing bears at large traveling circuses like Barnum and Bailey, where the tickets would go for about $1. That's $1 without about food. But this was a smaller show, like the type from the Vaughn brothers or
Music,
the Robbins
food,
brothers,
beverage,
where tickets
entertainment.
would sell for just a mere 50 cents. Watching that bear do tricks on stage brought a glimmer of joy at a time when so much was wrong with the world. The simple show would go on for years, bringing happiness to hundreds of travelers passing through looking for a quick meal. But it left a permanent impression on one little boy.
Oh, this is when
his
he was a
imagination in a way
child.
that nothing else had. One little boy.
So then he just copied
named
it?
Billy. That was his
Billy?
nickname at
Wait,
least,
what?
but his parents liked to call him William.
William Afton.
The bear could dance.
Okay.
It could sing. For decades, William dreamed of recreating that moment of bringing a musical bear to life, but how? William was smart, without a doubt, and he had a keen mind for business, but he wasn't the most creative. How do you make a singing, dancing bear come to life? The best he could do was using rudimentary costumes. William was inspired by the work of Walt Disney, who throughout the 50s and 60s was pioneering the use of mascot suits throughout his theme park. The big innovation? Suits with 5 fingers. This allowed the performers wearing the suits to use their natural arms and hands to interact with the guests, as opposed to the older models where the arms would just hang limply by their sides. Finally, with a simple mascot suit, he would be able to realize his childhood dream. He would be able to bring Fredbear to life. To appeal to the kids, and for copyright reasons, he changed Fredbear from a realistic brown animal to a cartoonish yellow bear with a purple hat and bow tie. But feeling like one character wasn't enough, he added another friend, a yellow rabbit with a purple vest and matching tie named Bonnie the Bunny. While Fredbear was certainly his first love, Bonnie was extra
Where did he get this art?
because that was his. It was an original character that
I was gonna say that
from scratch.
he is
And I do
being a
mean
little
scratch. Williams' hand
more
costumes
original
were rough,
because-
with seams and stitches visibly showing, but it was the best that he could do. And you know what? It was just enough. Bonnie and Fredbear would perform
but
on
that
stage to small
right there
but
wasn't
enthusiastic
Bonnie.
crowds. Finally, he was able to deliver fantasy and fun to all the kids, delighting and inspiring them in the exact way that he had been delighted and inspired so
thought that
many
was just
years
Golden
ago.
Bonnie,
And
but
things could have ended
yes.
there. That could have been the end to his story. It could have been perfect had it not been for one thing. Other people saw the success of his idea and they wanted in.
Franchise!
Enter Chica's Party World, a rival restaurant starring performing animal characters.
What?
His idea, except they did it better. William may
Wait,
have been
Chico's part of
first,
a
but
different,
obviously he
like,
wasn't the best.
restaurant
It
and
hurt
universe?
the prideful William Afton to admit it, but this restaurant was able to do the thing that he always wanted to do, make the animals actually come to life. All of the performers in this restaurant were robots, simple metal skeletons that were powered by battery packs, but all of them able to freely turn and talk and dance on their own, no human required. It was like magic that came from the mind of a brilliant creator named Henry Emily. This Henry, in some small way, had been
Emily?
able to
His last name's
harness the
Emily?
power of life itself.
Why is his last name a
Afton
girl's
admired
name?
He was jealous, to be sure, but he also
this
looked
was
upon
in
this
a
man
book.
with awe. Off to one side of Chica's Party World was a small cabaret stage featuring an elephant magician. On the other,
Okay, wait, hold on. I've never seen this FNAF character, but I don't like it. I love elephants. I don't like this one. I had to pause it here because this one is creeping me out. Okay.
on the other, a hippo known to ramble
the hippo.
on and on.
Yeah, I
That
know the
one
hippo,
was more of a joke for
but
the
I've never-
parents, but it was the main stage that was for the kids.
Yeah,
a
yeah.
rocking band of characters featuring a yellow chicken thing with a southern
Look at
drawl.
how did they go? Hold on, I gotta pause it again. So here's Chica, right? Like, what happened to like this, and then like the you know, like the cute stuff, kind of cute, right? These are kind of cute, and then it turns into that. How did it get so distorted to look so terrifying? Like, why do you got all these extra teeth? You don't need them. What happened,
Chica,
man?
backed by a band of other country-themed characters, including a pig with a banjo,
Okay.
an upbeat frog from the local swimming hole, and a brown bear with a heavy southern accent. Wait, a bear?
What?
But bears were his animals. Why not a cow or a horse? Something to fit the country theme a bit better. Why did it have to be a bear? And adding insult to injury, they had the nerve to
hat,
call
too.
this thing Ned Bear, a
Ned
direct
Bear
copy
instead of Fred
his
Bear.
own Fred Bear.
Whoops, that's gonna leave a mark.
No, that was not okay. Afton's jealous admiration turned to hardened bitterness. A bitterness that would only grow over the next couple of years as families continued to choose Chica's Party World over Fredbear's. William just couldn't compete with the appeal of the robots.
So how did he
Eventually,
acquire
his
Chica?
restaurant would go bankrupt, only to get bailed out by, of course, Henry Emily. Another insult. Another humiliation that William wouldn't soon forget. 1979. Despite
Okay.
being bitter, Afton couldn't deny that what came next was a period of massive success and expansion. With
All
the two
right.
franchises now merged into one, it was the best of both
Interesting.
worlds. Afton's
But when did they
ideas
call-
with Henry's
they kept
robotic
it
expertise,
called
the two
Chica's
men
Party
decided
World?
to launch under a new name, Fredbear's Family Diner, a pizza
Okay.
chain that would eventually come to feature
Not
a mix
quite. right.
Humans in performing
Because
suits
it's not
as
about
well as
pizza yet.
on-stage animatronics. They decided to stick with Fredbear as the headliner,
Instead of
considering
Ned Bear?
the yellow bear was easily identifiable as a brand, and because he was the original performing animal mascot. Afton appreciated that. This new restaurant would also see a mix of characters as the two franchises merged into one, with Pink Patch and Happy Frog performing right alongside Fredbear and Bonnie. And as part of this one...
Whoa! Bonnie? Look like that? That does not look like Bonnie. I mean, I'm sure they changed. I mean, Fredbear looks exactly... Well, he doesn't look exactly like Freddy, but he does look... I mean, you know, because of the purple hat. But yeah, he does look like... He looks like Fredbear, but this doesn't look like actual Bonnie.
Big Fredbear family. They even got themselves official merch that were released, ranging from masks to magnets.
I play Pizzeria Sim.
Mr. Hippo fridge magnet?
Oh, that's SB. I'm sorry, Gregory.
That said, not all the characters were winners.
Okay,
the reception
yeah.
to some characters was just mediocre. So they faded away.
More
into
than mediocre, that one
dumpsters,
creeps me
storage
out.
units, and retro budget tech stores of lost nostalgia, waiting
There
for
you
their
go.
chance to
Budget
step
tech.
back into the
Okay.
limelight if and when a headliner went out of commission. Others, though, would fare much better, like a new Pirate Fox, as well as a blue guitar-playing variant of the yellow Bonnie Bunny.
There it
Ultimately, the
is.
franchise would get
Okay.
so big, it would spawn its own cartoon show, Fredbear and
And
Friends.
Friends.
Business was booming. In the end, Fredbear and Bonnie's popularity would be so strong that they would be able to support the Fredbear's Family Diner franchise all on their own, while also spinning off a new sister location dedicated to their
Sister
friends. In
location,
1983, Freddy Fazbear's
Pizza.
launched,
Oh,
giving a
that's the
dedicated
sister
home to
location,
all
not
this new
actual sister
supporting
location.
cast of characters. Chica the Chicken, Bonnie the Blue Bunny, Foxy
Yes.
the Pirate, and of course the headliner, a brown Freddy Fazbear.
Yep.
Business was good, and Afton was happy.
But look at those
mostly.
teeth!
It did bother him that the one original character that he created, the one that he himself played, Golden Bonnie, got passed over for inclusion in that cartoon
Purple
show.
Bonnie,
the
yeah.
only character
Blue
in the
bunnies,
roster of
yeah.
regulars to get ignored for the show, but other than that, things were going smoothly. He had himself a wife, two sons, a daughter. He had a thriving business.
His
and best
son's
of all,
wearing
he
a-
was able
a-
to learn the craft of robotics from
mask?
the man that he both loved and hated, Henry. Together, they were constantly pushing the limits of what these characters could do. Because it was quick and easy, new characters introduced into the roster would be given a simple hand-sewn suit with 5 fingers that any performer could wear. Eventually, Henry would design one of his signature animatronics for that character, utilizing a divided mouth with either a hinged or sliding jaw design. This was the first generation of animatronics. But why stop there? Afton had big ideas. What if the animatronics weren't just locked to the stage, but could freely roam the restaurant and interact
and
with
then
kids? What if
the
his
problem was
mascot
born.
suits could become animatronics? What if you could use more than just rigid metallic skeletons? Why not experiment with tubes and wires that would give the animatronics fluidity and
Because from
flexibility
Fnaf
while
VR.
still providing structure? The possibilities for this technology were endless. Afton fell in love with robotics. He had started with a dream of bringing one simple singing bear to life, but with robots, he had stumbled across the tools that gave him the ability to control life itself. And thanks to Henry, he was practically speedrunning his way to an engineering degree. And while William wouldn't admit it out loud, one other thing that kept pushing him forward was the desire to beat his former rival, to prove himself
competition.
smarter, more capable, to surpass the man who everyone else considered to be a visionary genius. But pride cometh before the fall, and tragedy was about to strike. Okay, so that brings us to the end of part 1 of the story. That said, at the end of each of these chunks, I want to break down some of the logical leaps that I made, since the more narrative format doesn't give me much of a chance to justify a lot of the big decisions.
But I mean,
Admittedly,
he
there
showed
are some
examples of
large leaps
why.
in here. Let's just start off with Fredbear's Singing Show, shall we? We know, based on the retro poster
50
that was
cents,
hidden
I
in
get that.
Security Breach, that at least at one point, Fredbear was an actual bear. And like I
guess
called out
so,
in that narrative
yeah.
segment, dancing bear shows were a real form of
Okay,
entertainment.
I
The
got
only
it, yep.
problem is that timing-wise, none of our main characters would be the people in charge of that business in the 30s.
Right,
and
so
a
that's why you
series of
thought it
pizza
was this
restaurants in the
kid.
80s without
Or
him just
as
being
a kid.
extremely old. Best
Right.
case scenario, if Afton's running the singing show when he's 18, that still puts him at nearly 70 when the first pizzeria opens and his murder
and
spree
dead
begins.
by
It
the-
just doesn't
yeah.
make a lot of logical sense because he
Right.
doesn't become
I mean, he's
immortal
bald, though,
until his
so-
first death in Springtrap. That's why I suspect that Fredbear's Singing Show was either a family business that Afton then carried on to a new generation, or
got it.
something
Or
that he
something
saw as a kid and just
Right.
wanted
Okay.
to recreate when he grew up. The
Cool.
Fredbear Singing Show thing also
I can
starts
buy it.
laying the groundwork for some of the core elements of the story, that Freddy's was a place of fantasy and fun, and that Afton, despite eventually falling to become the heartless serial killer and
With the
mad
knife.
scientist that we know him as, began as someone with good intentions and a love of entertaining kids. He
someone
wanted to
turned
bring
evil.
things to life from the very
Well, that's
beginning,
original.
a theme that recurs a lot for him throughout the rest of the franchise. Next up, let's talk about those mascot costumes.
Yeah.
One thing that I keep going back to is the design of Glitch Trap. It's a handcrafted suit. You can see the seams and everything. It even has 5 fingers for the performer's hands. It is very much not a Springtrap suit. This is something much more rudimentary. It came at a time before animatronics were a part of the story. That's why I suspect that it was actually the first, predating literally everything. It's also
but then it shows up in SB though.
To Afton. He put his digital consciousness in that form. It's his personal avatar. It's the way that he sees himself. There's also a whole separate discussion to be had here about the habits and rituals of serial killers. So the fact that he's choosing to lure kids and kill them in this particular suit actually says a lot about his emotional attachment to it. So while Fredbear seems to have started as someone else's creation, Golden Bonnie was uniquely Williams, giving him a personal connection. And that's not all. In this
and it was left out,
only one set of characters have themselves 5 fingers, the Nightmares. Even Golden Freddy, Fredbear, was a 5-fingered wearable suit at one point in the story, as we see in this shot from the graphic novel, before he, like everyone else, was turned into an animatronic. This seems to imply that all of the main characters had similar wearable mascot outfits at least at one point in time, and that whoever is having the FNAF 4 nightmares, if they even are nightmares, something that we'll touch on in part 2, saw those mascot suits specifically. Lastly, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. The literal elephant.
I don't like this one.
Elephant,
why are we doing that? We don't need to talk about him.
For a while now, I've suspected that the mediocre melodies played a much more important role in the story than just being a bunch more animatronics to fill out the roster. Especially Ned Bear, which is just so suspiciously close to Fred Bear.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's got a tie instead of a bow tie. I get it.
Justify with any mediocre melodies mention. One, they're very rudimentary with external battery packs, implying that they come very early in the timeline. And 2, we know that at minimum, Mr. Hippo does eventually become an official member of the extended Freddyverse.
Yeah, there he is.
But if these things are supposed to be cheap, generic rip-offs, why would you be trying to rip off yourself? You wouldn't. You would be stealing someone else's ideas. So if Afton created Fredbear, there would have to be some rival franchise. The only other person who would likely be ripping him off, Henry. We've talked extensively about how the mediocre melodies are clearly Henry's design aesthetic, so it just has to be him. I don't think Henry's doing this maliciously. He doesn't strike me as the type. He was likely building the robots at the orders of someone else that was running a rival restaurant
not Freddy Fazbear's
But
Pizza.
that's enough motivation to start Afton down a path of jealous rivalry, but also begrudging admiration. As the Freddy Files Ultimate Edition says, it's important to revisit the beginning of Henry and William's relationship, so here you go. I think this is where it begins. Also, this is future Matt Pat here coming back to add this one in. Seems like the recently released character encyclopedia has backed up all of this
have that?
I've
never seen that.
About a month now, but I've also been holding off a bit to see what wrenches this character encyclopedia might throw into it. And on this particular point, I gotta say, it seems like we might actually have nailed it. They actively call out the suspicious similarities to the main Fredbear crew.
Well done.
On the pages. Ned Bear looks like an imitation, altered just enough to avoid copyright issues. I don't know about you, but that seems to imply that we were right on the money. Knowing all of this, at one point the franchises had to have merged. That's really the only way that you get Mr. Hippo from the rival franchises part of the Fazbear crew. This also mirrors a lot of what happened in the real-life history of Chuck E. Cheese, with 2 rival restaurants, each with their own casts of characters, merging to become one unified
Did they really?
brand.
I didn't know
we've
that.
gone into that in detail with other videos, just wanted to remind you all of that here.
I didn't know that.
Why would I call out the rival restaurant as being named Chica's Party World? Few things, actually. First, we know for a fact that a location named Chica's Party World exists. It is mentioned in the source code teasing sister location. So it is out there somewhere and doesn't fit cleanly anywhere. Second, in the story The Puppet Carver, Chica is very explicitly looped in with the book versions of Pig Patch and Ned Bear, implying that she started as a mediocre melody. Thirdly, her design just fits better with a theme of down-home country animals with southern accents playing the banjo and eating with Bill.
Look at all those teeth! Look at all the teeth!
The show with her name on the restaurant, it would make sense then that when the restaurants merged, she was the one that was added to the main cast of characters while all the other mediocres faded away. It's also why when Freddy's closes after William's killing spree, she's the one to branch back off into her old franchise and is therefore missing in Sister Location, a detail that's bothered me for years at this point. It might also explain why William decided to stuff his first dead kid into Chica. That one was Henry's creation, not his. Is all of this a big leap?
The first one was
is
Chica?
Connecting a lot of dots that are very spread out across the franchise that I've been holding on in the back of my mind for years? Absolutely. But I think it makes sense. It also serves as a clean answer to a lot of the random threads that Scott's been leaving dangling for years. So with all of that in mind, my friends, we can close the book on the foundation of Freddy's. And don't worry, next week I'll be back to give you arguably one of the most confusing parts of this entire timeline situation. Part 2, the Afton era. I promise it will
This was just the first part!
No more waiting around. I am just as eager to get this one out the door as you are car to watch it. I promise. You know what else I promise? I promise that we'll actually get to talking about the games. I would have liked
Whoa, so I just watched like a 19-minute video on theory of before the games, but I have a basis now of how the games came into play, how the franchises came into play. And I feel like, you know, it doesn't say part 1. I thought it was the ultimate timeline, the entire thing. He tricked me. I feel like I should watch the other ones. I probably should do that. If you guys think I should watch the other ones, let me know in the comments. Let me know by clicking the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. We are almost to 10 million, only 100,000 away right now. And I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks for watching. And of course, Noodle on!